Welcome back to Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast, the recap of stage 18 of the Giro d'Italia from Fai della Paganella to Pieve di Soligo, 171 kilometers long. We have only two categorized climbs, a Cat 3 and a Cat 4, neither of which are the longest climbs of the day. 20 Ks into break formation, we have a 5K 6% climb before two punchy hills, but then it's mostly easy for the rest of the day. A couple of short hills, nothing really of note. The main attraction of the day is the Muro del Poggio, which we had at the start of break formation of the Asiago stage in stage 15 last year. It was like it broke apart the peloton in break formation then. Today it's in the final. It's 10 Ks from the finish to the crest. It's 1.1 Ks, 11.5% with a very steep 300 meter stretch in the first 500 meters. The key thing about this that I underestimated is there's a descent entry, a pedaling descent entry after an easy stage, and then a right-hand narrow turn into this climb. That, I think, changes what happens on this climb significantly and who survives on this climb.
You're basically saying that positioning is key, right?
Position's key, being able to block it's key, and the people who are going to be in position with a descent pedaling entry, who then have some more gas, are the massive boys.
But I want to bring it back a little bit because I don't want to talk about this climb yet because we were under the impression that this would most likely be a breakaway stage. And I feel like in the first hour of this race, the peloton felt like they were also of the impression that that would happen. We had a calmer first 15 kilometers, I would say, on the flat section. But then once that first climb started, Patrick, I saw attacks left and right, multiple groups starting to form, some splits in the peloton, etc. And then we get over the climb and it's kind of back together. We get to the next hill, more attacks. We get over that climb, it's kind of back together. Do you think at a certain point the peloton gave up and it resulted in an easy breakaway?
Yeah, it was. They ran out of room to form the break with punchers. And then UAE, they kind of took what we thought they should do, which is control for Narvaez if you can actually, but then rather than getting in the breakaway. And so what happens is there's no break at all, which I was really surprised by.
Crazy.
Really surprising. Trek start controlling, I thought, for Ciccone. And instead of controlling for Strong, I think that's totally fine. Corbin Strong, 4-minute watt per kilo, very, very good. He can survive this climb with the best 20, 25, and then sprint. So the NSN, UAE, and Trek are controlling. Quick Step, I was like, they've lost Ciclamino. I thought when the break was on 1 minute 30 with Shaw, Tupolti, and
some other guy. I generally don't remember the break where I forgot to write it down.
Yeah, then I thought Quick Step have lost Ciclamino because this climb should be too hard for the sprinters to survive.
Yeah, I was also having the same, or having lost Ciclamino, I'm not sure about that yet because there's no 100% certainty that Narvaez would win if he smashes that climb and some people come back together and then we get a small sprint. Anything can happen. But also adding the fact that the Rome stage is coming, 50 points available there too. I wasn't completely on the boat of like, oh, Ciclamino's completely gone. I was more of the boat of, I'd be shocked if sprinters survived this climb when the punchers hit it on the Muro del Poggio, because that's a really hard climb. But like you said, the positioning to that climb defined everything when it comes to the setup of the riders in that group in terms of which riders were positioned at the front, which type of riders were positioned at the front, which teams could be able to position themselves doing that. But again, we'll go back a little bit more. We have that four-man breakaway. I think Jonas Geens was the last rider present in that and also the last survivor of that breakaway. But I think Narvaez took 1 point at the intermediate sprint. There was maybe a crash throughout the stage as well by Afonso Elalio. In the white jersey, he crashed. I think Rob Stannard brought him back to the peloton. Outside of that, I don't think much happened. I think the next step is to run into the Cat del Poggio climb.
There was an intermediate sprint, so the breakaway got caught. Well, except for Geens. Did you see what happened with Aaronsman?
I didn't actually.
At the intermediate sprint. So the peloton's blocked. It's a false slide uphill. It's blocked. Hindley's not there. Aaronsman's only he's not that far behind goal, the seconds. And also he wants to take time. If time's free, then take it.
You mean the Red Bull KOM, eh?
The Red Bull KOM.
Okay.
To give 6:42, Haynes takes the 6 seconds for free on the breakaway. There's 4 and 2 seconds available. Take them if you can get them. Decathlon sender Rouleur, or maybe Stan admits it, just jumps to take 4. Aronsman's about to beat him. Swift boxes him in and then doesn't break and takes the 2 seconds from Aronsman, who then goes, "What are you doing?" after the IS.
I'll have to look that back. I missed the Red Bull KOM today.
Yeah.
Sorry, Red Bull KM.
The Red Bull KM, which is actually just a sprint at the end of the kilometer.
Yeah, it's a
We
marketing
need to
gimmick,
have
but-
Gouden Kilometer. We need to have the Renewy Tour. We got it in Belgium Tour in a couple of weeks, right?
No. I think that we need to do something differently. Like the Gouden Kilometer it's too old school. We gotta hype it up. We need a proper mountain, Patrick. Let's say we've got a 16-kilometer climb, and every 2 kilometers there's a sprint where you get half a minute.
We got to bring back time gaps, bring back real gaps, bring back 30 seconds at intermediate sprints.
Okay. Jokes aside, the Muroca del Poggio's coming up. We've got teams sprinting towards that, like you said, pedaling descent, and Little Trek was very prominent in positioning Jonathan Milan for this climb. Also, Visma Leasebike was setting up Jonas Vingegaard's position also there. Am I fair to say that I was missing UAE Team Emirates a bit? But then again, they've got like...
They don't have the horses.
They have
Bjerg
a
was
few
pulling
riders
today.
left.
Bjerg and Morgado were pulling.
And
So-
Morgado composition anyway, so...
Yeah, like what is like Arietta and Jan Christian are not going to do this lead out. Where
Yeah.
Net Company used Sheffield, Swift, Ganna, like they smashed it. Then another team smashes it. We get to the climb. I'm just looking at the results, by the way. I thought the whole time Trek were going for Ciccone, and hand up, I did not believe for a second Milan could survive this. I didn't believe it. Ciccone lost 5.
Especially because I expect the peloton to smash it on that climb.
Yeah, I expected the peloton to smash it, but Ciccone lost 5 minutes today.
Really?
Yeah.
Probably a good thing for KOM battle, because the next 2 days are very important.
Sure, but I thought but then what ended up happening was we get to the base of the climb, no one does anything. It was like the climb before the Eichenberg in Omloop.
Kortekeer.
It was like the Kortekeer before the Steinberg in E3, because Kubish, Milan, all these sprinters strong get through in P1. They're like, I'm happy here. Let's all ride out. I'm happy. And then you
Sir,
block.
Respect the man in white. Afonso Eulalio.
But I'll get to it in a second, though. Because
Okay.
Vingegaard was the only climber there. Did you expect him to... And he was looking like, wow, we are going slow. And the sprinters were like, shut the hell up. Don't do anything. Stay where you are. Like, you could see that going through their head.
Jonas, if you move, I'll beat you up.
Yes. Milan was like, don't move.
He's literally the only guy at the front in between like 80 kg sprinters. So I was kind of hoping Jonas would kick it off. But he
we
didn't.
needed your man to do it.
What do you mean, your man?
Eulalia.
Okay, I'll take him as a man in this specific case then. But the man in white, Afonso Eulalio, the Chad of the peloton at the moment, goes to the front, smashes it, and there's no immediate response, to be honest. He gets a bit of a gap in doing so. And then in the back, we see Kus starting to set a controlling tempo for Jonas Vingegaard. So Eulalio's got a bit of a gap, starts hammering it to the top. Nobody else really makes a move on this climb out of Eulalio. And Kus kind of rides it until maybe 200 meters from the top, where we get a striking attack, Patrick, by Jonas Vingegaard for the KOM points?
I guess, but it's a Cat 4. It's like, no points.
Jonas took
Is it like 2 points?
3 points for the winner, 2 points for second. But Eulalio got caught before the top, right?
Yeah. Jonas took the 3 points.
So Jonas took 3 points, Mattis Rondel took 2 points there. So every point matters, right? It's either KOM points or it's positioning for the downhill.
Could be.
Both it's fine, but the problem is because of Jonas's attack, there's also some splits happening in the group. And that causes Piganzoli, his teammate, who's fighting for the white jersey, to drop on this climb. That's more of a positioning drop than a condition drop, right?
Or I think a lot of climbers had their legs fried in the run into this climb. And that's why who set a devastating pace? Like, in my mind, our idea was, well, the sprinters can't survive because Arietta and Kristen are going to launch Narvaez. they never got near the front because of positioning.
But I gotta apologize to Jonathan Milan here, because when
He
he
was
was
incredible.
with 50 kilometers to go, I was like, Jonathan Milan does not survive this final climb. Then he starts that final climb in pole position, and you see him lose position by position, but not like 50 positions. He was like 20, 25 or something in the span of this 1.1 kilometers. And yes, he's not in the front echelon of riders over the top, but he's as close as he feasibly can, which is part of that second group, together with, I think, Paul Magnier, who was sitting a bit further in the group. So over the top, we've got basically a group with Jonas Vingegaard and a bunch of GC riders and punchers and versatile sprinter for NSN. So NSN starts to pace in that first group. Then the second group has Piganzoli pacing initially, but that also includes Magnier and Milan. So the sprinters teams would organize. Was there also not a little track rider at the back of the first group, maybe Sobrero or something?
Oh, I don't know.
There was one guy looking back and talking to his radio and not waiting.
There was... Who was in front? Was Quickstep in front? Because the groups formed are interesting. By the way, on Jonathan Milan, you will all obviously remember the Primosten climb in Crow Race 2022, and also the Dramal climb, 1K 8%, 6Ks from the finish after an easy day, stage 4 of Crow Race. That was when we saw Big Johnny Milan climbing in a way that we expected him to do in classics. And we've not seen this, and it's probably because it was an easy stage, and then it's like an all-out 4-minute test, and he does so many watts.
He can't repeat this 4 climbs in a row,
no,
is what you're saying.
Exactly. Whereas a fresh effort, he is actually, like that Crow Race showed when he was on Bahrain, that he can really go fast for 3 to 5 minutes when he's fresh. Who was in Group 1? Basically, every GC contender except Piganzoli. Goals made his way there.
Storr and O'Connor were behind too, I think.
Were they? Okay. Harper maybe behind, De La Cruz behind. No doubles except for Koos and Vingegaard and Pinarello and Strong.
Yes.
So Pinarello starts pulling full. I was surprised by the lack of, not effort's the wrong word, the lack of control quickly coming in Group 2.
Yeah, true, because the fact that Piganzoli is pulling instead of a Quickstep or track rider is surprising, but I also think it's because it took time for them to get to the front of the group in the first place. Because it's not, if you're a domestique of Milan, you're probably not in the exact same position as Milan going over the top. You got to organize before you can get to the front. That said, it took maybe a bit longer than expected, but it wasn't sitting still at the front either, because a bit later, I think maybe with 6.57 kilometers to go, after NSN was setting the controlling tempo, the gap was 10 seconds, by the way, from G1 to Group 2.
Yeah.
We saw an attack from that front group by Johannes Kulsid, and then we saw an attempt to bridge towards him by Afonso Elalio once again. So the chat of the peloton, those two riders had a gap of, let's say, 9 seconds at best and started hammering it. But then we saw that second peloton eventually coming back to that first peloton. I'm calling them pelotons, but you know what I mean. And what I did like to see, what I did enjoy that I saw is what I mean, is that the second that second peloton caught the first peloton, Derek G went to the front of that first peloton and started hammering it to catch Kulsid and Elalio. So credits to G there.
Exactly. G starts pulling. Quickstep had stayed back. They hadn't taken control. They had numbies too. They had, I'm looking through who finishes close. They had
Stuyven,
Raccagni Noviero, Sturven, and
Garofoli,
Zana. Nah. PCS has Caruso on Quickstep, and has taken out Garofoli.
Garofoli was there.
So Garofoli, they've substituted Caruso for Garofoli on PCS.
Pretty good signing.
Yeah. They got numbers, but they were waiting, and then they come, and then this finish, which I hadn't looked at, it was like the organizers didn't think it would be a sprint. Like, this finish was
so sketchy.
So sketchy.
Downhill, a bend in the last sprint.
So many.
On top of that, it was also raining. So the stickers on the floor, I think it was like a zebra crossing with 50 meters to go. Super wet, super sketchy. Spoilers, no one crashed. And I'm thanking the cycling gods for that, because that could have gone very wrong. at the finish there. But
The man of the match today is Jasper Stuyven.
yeah,
So like I was on the phone. I was shouting like, Stuyven comes up the race. He's got to shoot from the back, and he starts to shoot from the back.
who the fuck are you calling and shouting Stuyven to with 2 kilometers to go?
I was like, Stuyven needs to move here, and he moves. He comes from the back. He was behind Magnier. Magnier was forward.
Patrick on the phone call with his local telecom provider. Stuyven's going on the left.
Legit, the Saley. NSN had control. Strong was in 4th position. Aular does a crazy dive bomb. Garcia Cortina basically like dive bombs Aular into a corner, puts in P4, and then is like has to brake to avoid crashing, so he's out of the race. Then, Stuyven brings up Magnier, but from behind. So he goes up, butt taps Magnier. First mistake from Milan. He could have taken Stuyven's wheel off Magnier.
Yeah.
He loses this race right there. He has to stay on Stuyven's wheel. Magnier didn't have a right to it.
Is this the exact moment that they all have to slow down a bit because they were stuck behind the NSN rider?
That came later.
Okay.
That came afterwards. Magnier gets on the wheel. Then they start to shred. An NSN lead out pulls to the right, full blocks Stuyven, and then the left shoots up. Narvaez moves up on the left. Narvaez loses Ciclamino, this right-hander. So he loses it here. Narvaez had the opportunity here when that blocking happened to full go into that corner and move himself into P3. Listen, I wouldn't do it either, but he breaks himself in that corner completely out of this sprint.
At what point did Garcia Cortina try to dive bomb a corner? That was before.
I think so, yeah.
That was not Aular in his wheel, or was it?
It was Aular, yeah. He put Aular into P4.
Yeah, well, he put him into P4, but also with a gap in front of him because Garcia Cortina started braking too much in that corner. But TLDR, to summarize, the final segment, Jasper Stuyven MVP.
Because he has to restart.
Smashing it.
He has to restart his lead out from being blocked. Does a mega lead out through these corners. And like Benji said, this was so sketchy and wet. All the sprinters start their sprint seated.
Yeah.
To not lose traction. They all start their sprint seated. Zamba is coming on the inside of
Stuyven.
Stuyven thinks about doing the dirty.
Yes.
He was on the way to doing the dirty. Zambanini took no notice of it, but I would have been panicking in that moment if I was him. Stuyven backs out from chopping him out of Magnier's wheel, which he has to. Back out of that.
Milan went around, and it felt to me like first of all, going around was always going to take the longer way because Pythagoras is a thing. But that to the side, Magnier, it's also the kind of final where positioning going into the final 150 meters means you will most likely podium if you're the front 3 riders, except for maybe the lead out. And I think that's the case indeed with the likes of Zambanini here, because Zambanini on paper is not the prime sprinter in the world, but because of his position, he can fight for that potential P2, P3 position, and Milan tries to come around on the outside of that bend and just can't even get past Zambanini. So Paul Magnier takes his third stage win, hat-trick, but this one he can thank Mr. Jasper Stuyven a lot here.
Yeah, I'm rewatching it now. It really wasn't close. And with the corners and the chicanes, Stuyven just unbelievable lead out. Maybe he's getting paid a lot. He's probably getting paid a lot at Quickstep, but he was their best classics rider. They're going to win Ciclamino and 3 Giro stages because of him piloting Magnier.
He's better than the entire little Trek lead out combined.
Yeah, I think that signing has paid off big time for them. Big time.
Not for Trek because he left there.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good point. He could have been there for Milan. Wow. Sliding doors moment.
And he was never the lead out for Milan in the first place, by the way.
No, they always just put people my size in front of Milan. And then, it doesn't always work. Magnier wins his third stage ahead of Zambanini. Milan, Bussato for Alpes in 4th. Corbin Strong 5th. Mikkel 6th. Silva 7th. Madley 8th. Lowland 9th. Kubish 10th. Turner 11th. I think Corbin Strong why doesn't Corbin Strong win more? Why hasn't he won a Giro stage? Why is he 5th here? And the answer is...
He's not that fast.
Yes, but the answer is he never benefits from his his 5-minute talent because his team, it wasn't strong enough to keep G2 behind. And
But also,
if he's sprinting from G1, he is winning.
I agree. I agree with you, but I also, for me, this is not the Corbin Strong stage. For me, the Corbin Strong stage are the kind of stage that Van Drame wins, or the one that Silva won this Giro. Those are the ones where Strong should be able to compete for the victory, but he doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, stage 4, yeah, Movistar made it so hard. I think...
No, not even. I'm talking about stage 2.
The Bulgaria one?
Yeah, that's
you're
the
right.
stage
No,
that
you're 100%
Strong should
right.
be.
That's a 5-minute test that he should survive in a group of, what was it, 30?
It was 35 riders, 34.
5-minute test. He crashed. Did he not?
Oh, okay. That's
I could
fair.
be making up Narvaez crash. But anyway, like, yeah, he can't win against Milan. He makes the group of, it was a small group, Benji. It was like 12 riders. It was like GC riders plus Strong. And yeah, Pinarello was super good. He maybe pulled too hard because then he was gone. But yeah, unfortunately for Strong, it came back and then it's tough for him. So it's one of those sprinters where, like, yeah, it either needs to be an uphill sprint or like he needs a mega strong team to control that finish. Anyway.
I think if you put Corbin Strong on a better team than an Ascend, he wins more races, but that's a boring thing to say because that's logical.
Yeah, if he was on...
The team that came to mind was Ineos, but I'm not completely sure about that statement then.
I think Ben Turner, his Giro so far, might not accord with that.
Yes, exactly. Then again, Ben Turner as the domestique for Strong.
He's on quick step next year. Oh, Ben, is he not? That's
Turner and Stuyven on the same team.
Stuyven for Manier. Oh.
And Merlier's there as well.
And Merlier and Dainese. Oh.
Well, let's not mention Dainese. Yeah. I'm sorry, buddy, but we're not having that shit.
Points jersey. Manier, like a double victory for him today. He goes 37 points ahead of Narvaez. We have just mountain stages for the next 2 days, and then Rome. Narvaez,
it's over.
It's over.
Manier won Ciclamino.
Like, Narvaez is not gonna win that Rome stage. Famous last words.
Imagine if that happens.
So yeah,
do they have an Italian Montmartre?
I don't know, but it's even flatter than the Vuelta like laps they do in Madrid. So that was exciting. Vingegaard is like 80 points ahead of Ciccone and KOM. White jersey, Eulalia maintains the same gap of 217. No changes in the top 10 in GC, although Chris Harper lost actually a minute 40. So
really?
That's actually a big blow to his podium. Top 10. Top 10 bid.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe he was ambitious.
It's a big blow to his top 10.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the end of the world because it's still, quote unquote, only 3 minutes 30 to the top 10, which means one really good breakaway opportunity that can do the musical chairs in the next 2 days. And it can happen. The question is just Malisa Bike going to control both mountain stages coming up or not? I don't think they're going to control both. One of them, maybe.
Yeah. I think Ciccone and Rubio are destined to be in this break tomorrow. 251 Ks, Queen stage from Feltre to Aleje. It is, the Queen stage. It's only 150 Ks, but it's like 5,000 meters of climbing. First 45 Ks is rolling hills / flat. Then we do the Paso Duran, the Phillies reliever, 12 Ks, 8%, then descent, then the Koi climb, 6 Ks, 9%. That was used as the last climb in stage, maybe 17 of the Vuelta 2023, when Roglic and Kuss attacked Almeida. And then there's a short descent, and then they go up the Forcella something, 6 Ks, 6%. Then another descent.
Am I inventing that?
The what?
Forcella Solanza, am I inventing that?
No, you're not inventing it. I just could.
Oh shit, my Italian climb names are so good these days.
I couldn't crane my neck to read it. Then they have the Passo João, 10 Ks, 9% to 2,200 meters. The Cimacoppi descent, and then the Passo Falsarego, 6 Ks, 6.5%, and it's also got some flatter bits in it. I assume that's on a bigger road. then a long descent, 20 Ks, not all steep. And then they do the Piani di Pezze climb, 5 Ks, 10%. And yeah, the average altitude of the middle third of this stage is very, very high. From Koi to the end of Falsarego, they're over 1,500 meters. They're between 1,500 and 2,200 like the whole time for a couple of hours. So it's like my training, basically.
Flex.
Yeah, well, is it?
Passo Giao. About Passo Giao, third last climb being the hardest climb fascinates me on a stage like this. I'm not sure how much GC is interested in blowing it up on the Passo Giao, though. And the reason I'm thinking that is because Felix Gall is on paper the second best climber. He's also, on paper, one of the worst ascenders in the top 10. Now, he's he's 4 minutes down in GC now, with Damon Arensman being 24 seconds below him. I think Arensman's happy to just defend his podium position. It's Hindley that wants to get the podium. And is it bad that the stage comes before Piancavallo?
Nah.
Where a Hindley might think, oh, I can get those 33 seconds maybe on Piancavallo instead of going all out on Passo Giao tomorrow?
It really depends on how Red Bull look at it. Do they look at it like our way to get on the podium is for Hindley to take 2 sets of 18 seconds on time and Arensman? Or do they look at it like we can get on the podium by exploiting Felix Gall and maybe drop Arensman? And I don't know the answer to that. I mean, the descent...
Do they have the team?
I think Boris' team pretty good. Like, Aliotti's Vhoff. Pilazari's sick, but...
Yeah, that's the thing, because like Felix Gall has 2 teammates in the last 15 riders on a climb.
You can drop Gall on that Giao descent, I'm telling you. You can drop him on that.
It is not the most technical descent, though, but I agree that you can drop Felix Gall on that descent if you smash it.
The bit in the middle, you can drop him there. The thing is, can Zvihov or Aliotti drop Mühlberger? Or Scottson? The answer is no.
But then, if you hypothetically drop him in that downhill, then depends on the situation and the group formation, whether it's 5 riders there, 5 riders there, who's going to collaborate with who, etc. But also, in an ideal world, you've got a satellite rider up front if you attack on Passo Giao, you know?
And then Bernal might pull. Like, are Ineos going to launch Passo Giao with Bernal so that Arensman can like put pressure on the descent against Gall? I don't think so. I think they're going to be defensive.
I think they're going to be defensive and hope that they maybe can take a few seconds tomorrow, a few seconds the after, and I think their goal is just to podium with Arensman. Yeah. I think P2 would be nice, but I think they're going to play the more defensive role as well. I think the biggest GC changes are going to be people entering top 10 through a breakaway potentially.
We look at this. I'm just now remembering. What did Ineos do last time on Passo Giao, Benji?
Nothing.
They paced with Ben Swift.
When was that?
23 against Roglic, who couldn't deal with multiple high fatigue climbs.
Bondone's stage that year was good though.
Because UAE paced. And no, because Visma paced too hard.
Wow. I'd like to see Derek G doing something. Because his level's good enough to top 5 this race.
Where is
he can get Eulaliu out of the top 5.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, what if Eulaliu's dropped, from a group of 10 again on Giao, and just Piganzoli just starts just pulling?
Track strategy should be the following. Go and break her with Ciccone.
Yep.
Try to take all the KOM points possible, especially the Passo Giao.
Yeah.
50 points there. I think 40 points on the first climb, maybe from the top of my head. So all those points combined, he's already leading KOM. And then you got the choice. Go for the stage win with Ciccone from the breakaway, or try something with Derek G on Passo Giao to try and put pressure on Eulaliu. But outside of Ciccone, you don't have much to work with as teammates for Giro on Giao. So do you think G trusts himself enough to take a minute 20 on the next 2 days on just a final climb? I think he actually should, probably. I think he can pass Eulalio into the top 5 without needing to attack on the Passo João.
I agree, because he can just, like, someone is going to pace or do something, and Eulalio dropped from a big group on Curry. Like, he dropped from a big group, and then he just has to start dieseling and just do his pace. So, yeah.
Like,
I think, yeah.
I'd love to see a crazy GC battle tomorrow. I think we're going to see a GC battle. But I'm starting to think that a breakaway might actually be possible for the victory.
It depends how quick it goes on the flat, and
whether Visma's interested in the stage win or not.
Yeah,
because they got the strength to control it. Because you don't need to control it until the last climb. For Vingegaard to win the stage, he doesn't need to wait to the final climb. But he also doesn't need to attack on the Passo João. There's no urgency at all for him to attack.
Like, the last climb is really, really hard. 5K is 10% after a hard day. It's really, really hard.
Yeah, but Jonas Vingegaard is also really good.
No, but I mean, like, if Ahrensman and Hindley and Goal are attacking each other and it's all together and the break is caught on the final climb, he can just do the business there.
I'm saying it again. Hashtag free Piganzoli. Are you scared of dangerous breakaways? Put Piganzoli in it. It's no dangerous breakaway anymore.
I'm picking Enric Mas.
Ooh. Too much downhill for me to shout Mas. I think Rubio's better. Bernal's going to stay with Ahrensman. If he had the freedom, he could win from the break easily.
Yeah.
I think this is the one for Ciccone. But he's going to spend so much energy at every KOM to sprint. Because he does a thermonuclear attack regardless of whether he has someone even competing with him. Oh. I'm going to stick with Ciccone, especially because the João should explode the breakaway, and it shouldn't become a tactical thing in the last 40k based on that. Fuga is not really possible here, I think. You know? It's going to be the strongest breakaway rider winning, I think.
I think so. Yeah, exactly. You have to be really strong.
Was it Govi who won one of these stages in the last week of the Giro like 2-3 years ago?
That was on the day Hindley won GC on Fedaya. And that was a single 5k 10% climb.
Awful stage.
Novak wasn't allowed to chase him. Like, Bahrain didn't let him go. He was a satellite rider for Landa, and then yeah. So this is a very similar finish to Fedaya.
Yep. Because Malisa bike is defensive, so they don't need to do much. They just need to control technically. I'd like to see a free Piganzoli, but I don't really see it in the breakaway. He's also not going to attack on the Passo João, so maybe on the last climb he does a little move to try and gain more time in terms of wide jersey, or paces a steady tempo on the last climb. Nothing too crazy.
Give me Enrique.
You reckon the stage would be crazier? Because like now there's fatigue in the third week, of course, so that's going to hit quite a few riders tomorrow and the day after. But would we see more of a tactical battle if this was week 1 of a Grand Tour, where multiple leaders were still in play for multiple teams?
If this was week 1, then it would just be like Visma train on João.
Yeah.
I think.
Aye. Especially because there's a gap behind.
I think, I mean, like, that was what I was sort of grappling with. On all the mountain stages, we've had basically train, attack, everyone does ITT, except for the last mountain stage. We had some like attacking and tactics. When that doesn't happen, we've seen in other Giros, you're like, oh, well, if Vingegaard wasn't here, what would happen? Sometimes the answer, sadly, has been nothing as well.
Yeah. I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to go for Ruby. I'm going to go for a Movistar in-team fight between us.
Yeah, I'm going Mas, you go Rubio. We both think breakaway tomorrow. And do you think Ciccone takes KOM?
Yeah.
Yeah?
For that not to happen, Visma would need to control him in break formation, which Ciccone's not the best in getting in breakaways on the flat, by the way. But he can force it on the first climb, which is not that deep into the race.
And that climb's hard. So to do that, you'd have to kill your whole team, pretty much. Like,
or
all the rouleaus.
Jonas in the break.
Yeah, exactly.
And then everybody goes into breakaway. So I'm not sure that's a solution.
Yeah. Alrighty. That's the preview of tomorrow's stage. Thanks for listening as always. I think I was pleasantly surprised to be wrong today about the sprint. I'm happy we got a sprint because we've been deprived of them a little bit. And Magnes shows why he's the best sprinter in this Giro. Thanks for listening as always. Ciao, ciao.